I thought we did some good things. We did some good things at different spurts in the game. Game was much more difficult, as we saw, mainly because it's professional sports. They're a good hockey team over there. They've already won their good share of games, and we expected that type of effort out of them, obviously, after last night, and we got that, and they got what they wanted in terms of an effort. I'm sure not the result at the end, but they pushed hard and played pretty well. What did I see? I just saw we struggled to get some pucks out of our end in the last 10 feet. We call that the gray area. I just really felt we struggled there, which caused us some major problems. And then we took some penalties in the second period where we lost really a rhythm. I think we only had maybe 5 shots or something in the second period. And during this stretch we've been in, that's been very uncharacteristic of us. So that was a little bit of a concern that we didn't handle the puck very well in the second, but that was penalties. And we didn't get on the power play much, which has been part of the recipe of our success lately as we've been on the power play, and we didn't get that neither. So, that made it a difficult game. But most of the difficulty was due to the fact they just played well.
Just wanted to ask you about Sven. I mean, he's got points in 4 straight now. It seems like he's kind of taking baby steps to get back to that game that he knows best. Just kind of talk about what you've seen from Sven lately.
Well, Sven lately has gotten some points, and that's definitely a big part of his identity and who he is and how he wants to play and how he'll always play. It's how he's going to make a living, whether he plays in the National Hockey League or the American Hockey League or he plays in Europe someday. That's how he's going to make a living. But currently, our job with Sven is to improve all aspects of his game. And as we work on that, and the focus is different day to day, you're going to lose some of your offensive edge. And I think that's going on in Sven. And I noticed that last year. I mean, obviously we had a very good team last year in the start of the year, and he was a big part of that. I think we'd only lost 2 games when Sven was in a year ago, up through most of the Christmas. So he's a big part of what we do offensively, but on a personal note, he's trying to develop some hard areas. So I'm glad that he's getting some points because that helps sell the hard. There were times tonight he showed up in some hard areas. He was pretty hard on some guys physically, and these are things that he'll have to grow into as a young pro. And so, the whole thing helps when he can get his points because it helps him counterbalance everything else.
When Tyler had that great scoring chance there late in the game, you guys were able to bounce back, still get the win. Really medium rare, that's the thing you've been saying all year. Do you think Tyler's ever going to get a chance to win a game like that this year?
Well, the way he's playing, I will say he probably will. I think he's playing very well. I'm very happy for Tyler. Wather obviously had a good look, had a good release, great pass, and that was like an old-time save. That's a throwback. That's a Tommy Barrasso or Brodeur or somebody double stacking and throwing the pads up. So good for those guys. It was a good save and a great play by the pass and a great shot by Wather. And but I believe he'll get some chances. He's playing pretty well right now. We're proud of him.
With that line, the street line, Olsen and then Knight with the finish, definitely got the winning goal and success this week. And talk about them.
Well, it was interesting because, Ben Hanowski's been a kind of a permanent fixture on that line, and because things have transpired with our depth changing, when Streeter came down, I thought the other 2 groups were kind of going in the right direction. So we didn't really want to mess with Jonesy going with Granlund, and obviously the Juris and Locke and Barchi line had a little bit of chemistry last weekend. So threw Ben to the left wing, which he really hasn't played wing here all year. For the most part, Ben Street's been a centerman, and moved Hanowski out of that slot. And but there was a little glimpse in the year where there was a couple of plays when about a month or 2 ago where Knight kept finding Street all the time in the power play, and Street kept burying goals during his hot little streak. So we knew there was some chemistry there, and we'd seen that earlier, and so it worked out. To your comment, I thought they were our best line the last 2 games, consistently in all 3 zones. They were our best line, and I thought it proved out again tonight. So I was happy they were fortunate to get the winner. Yeah, different game, much more difficult game. I thought we gave them better looks tonight than we did, obviously, yesterday. The good start obviously took the wind out of their sails yesterday, and today they had constant wind in their sails. They kept coming, and I thought that Wazzy made some really good saves. Obviously, the ones that I thought were the quickest and that transpired the fastest, I thought he made the best saves on. The ones that kind of took a while and seemed like easier plays for him. I thought he got caught in between a lot of pucks. Like it was difficult for him but like the save at the end of the game there to sprawl out and make that's just a reaction save where you load and he pushes across and makes a save. I thought those type of saves all night, he made good saves. It's the other ones that were a little bit slower, methodical shots that I think had almost handcuffed him at times. But happy for the young man. It's difficult to win in this business, as we know, living here and going through this back-to-back against any team, doesn't matter who you play. So Wazzy was a big part of that.
You're in one of the busiest clusters of games that you've experienced yet this season. What have you done to get your guys prepared physically, mentally, prepared?
Well, we've really tried to take our days off. We're, for a bunch of young guys, they're learning what rest is and how to rest. And in the first half of the year, it took us a while to figure that out here. They're used to kind of living a young 20, 21-year-old lifestyle. And when you're playing these many games and there's the mental strain of the whole process. So we're trying to do a better job with our days off and how we handle our days off. So it's been educational. But we've matured as a team. So we'll take tomorrow off, go light on Friday and get ready for obviously Texas this weekend. But we had Sunday off. We had a team building event on Sunday. We've had a couple of those lately here where we had some days off and we've bowled and we've done some different things, and I think it's really helped our team. We've had good energy at the rink, and it's allowed us to be successful on game nights.
How much has this recent offensive success going to help you guys with Texas coming to have two of the top 3 point getters in the league?
Well, we should have confidence, which is a big part of being in professional sports in general. Regardless of the sport, you need confidence, and we have some guys with some confidence right now. So the goals and the output we've had, like whatever we've scored over the last 4 games, like 20-some goals or whatever it's been, like it should give us good confidence. This weekend, that confidence will carry us offensively in our ability to make plays. But the one thing we're going to be on the hook for this weekend is our ability to play defense and our ability to shut people down and do it in a different fashion than maybe we've had to do it before. So it's going to be, the one hand, the confidence will allow us to make plays. On the other hand, we're really going to be on the hook for our hard work and our attention to detail and our systems and things like that. But right now the guys feel good. And part of the other part that we keep talking about in press conferences, but it's been a huge part of our success, is the fact that we've had practice time. I can't relay it enough. Like when we've had our practice times over my 3 years here, at least how I feel, like we've always been a good hockey team, and we oftentimes don't get that in Abbotsford. So that's played into this whole confidence thing.
Speaking of confidence, what has it meant for your younger D-men in Ramage and Watherspoon to get to play with vets like O'Brien's?
Well, it's been huge. It's probably been one of the big things that's turned our team around a little bit here of late. I think we've seen Watherspoon play. His play is really well. I thought it started with Chris Breen, and it kind of just has flowed right into Obi and Sean O'Brien. Ramage, is a guy that has always managed a good hockey game. John plays the type of game where if you don't notice him, it's a really good thing, and he's been playing that for us. Even yesterday, I think he graded out in scoring chances almost equal to maybe -1, but that's an unbelievable game for the amount of ice time he's getting and where he's playing. So both Smitty and Obi have done a nice job with those two kids, and they've given them some confidence, and it's not so much always the sharing of the puck, it's the play. Where it really comes into play, which is the unknown factor, is when they sit on the bench next to each other. There's just that calming effect, and that's instead of a young man's brain racing somewhere down the road where it shouldn't be, it's just a hand on the kneecap, and it's just like, hey, we're okay, let's get this done, try and simplify this. It's these little subtle conversations that are really helping those two guys.
Texas has had a lot of blowout games this season, either for or against them, and even against the Heat, with very high-scoring games. How much of that's going to come down to goaltending this weekend?
Quite a bit. It's pretty much the way it's been. Like a lot of games, I agree. They either send you packing and they beat you to a pulp, or sometimes they struggle. And that's the way we've been with them. Obviously, we've had a really good game against them. We've had 2 not-so-good games against them in Texas. So this weekend, though, it'll be a different series. They have travel. They've played. We've had 2 games this week. It'll be interesting to see how the travel and the fatigue of our 2 games carry over into this weekend, what that does to positional play on both teams. I mean, do we get our good looks because they're a little bit tired from traveling and playing? Do we give them good looks because we just got through 2 hard games this week? So goaltending will be a huge component, I think, in this weekend series as to who does well and who doesn't do well. To help that, we just have to limit their chances, and discipline will be a huge part of that, both in our system play and not giving them 5-on-4 chances. That's something they're just deadly at. So, be a good test for Wazzy as it looks right now. It'll be, you kind of throw them in the fire, and I think McDonald's getting close, so we'll see how that goes. But right now, if it's Wazzy, that'd be really a good feather in his cap. He deserves it after these 2 wins.
Do you expect the Oni to come down for this weekend at all?
No, we don't expect to see Yoni at all this weekend. Nope, I don't. I think at some point they'll reassign him, but they play Saturday in Philly in the afternoon, and then I'm sure Sunday at some point in time something will happen. And even if he did get down here on Sunday in the afternoon, I think part of the development process we're in is we give the guys that are here the best chance to put them in that forefront.
Last question? Great.
Okay, thank you.